Am I audible? Am I visible? Am I invincible? No, nobody's invincible. Nobody's invincible. You are invincible until you are not. Because death gets the best of you. And I don't know you all, but I'm pretty sure you're all going to die. And that is not a threat. That is not a threat at all. A quick introduction about myself. My name is Afroz, and I'm a licensed skydiver. And with almost 100 jumps. And I've jumped in 6 different countries at 9 different drop zones, and I've had a few near-death experiences. And I'm here to tell you about one of my near-death experiences. Okay, but before I begin, are there any licensed skydivers here? Woo! Oh. There's one. Okay. So the rest of you, we have a really, I know it's a derogatory term, but skydivers have a really derogatory term for non-skydivers. It's called WUFO, spelled as WUFFO, which means what for? What are you living for? And it's such an egoistic sport that I feel like, where do I belong here? Because yeah, all right. So even I have a structure here. I have some pointers. So looking at me speaking, even a guy with 100 jumps, people with thousands of jumps would think like, why is he talking? Why is he giving a speech about skydiving? He's nothing. Like there's a hierarchy, and but I realized that wherever you are, no matter how much you progress in this sport, there will always be people doing crazier shit than you. And for example, I jump out of planes. I've met people who jump out of cliffs, jump from cliffs, and I've also recently met a lady who really she jumped from a cliff without a rig, without a harness, but with parachute hooked into her skin on the back. And but some of you look interested in it. If you want, I can hook you up with her. But what I've realized, doing these many jumps, that I'm not that good at it, and that's why I've had so many near-death experiences. But I make sure that after every jump, I contemplate, I ponder, I introspect, I do all synonyms of thinking. But I've realized I should get better. No matter what, I should get better. And I'm still in touch with my instructors. And one of the things that I was bad at was landing, because I used to do lots of I used to have many butt landings, and because of which butt landings, I was not landing on my feet, I was landing on my butt. Because of which, now I have a bent tailbone, and it's permanently bent. And the doctors told me that if I land on my butt again, then I wouldn't be able to control my bowel movements. And I already have IBS. I got this poop emoji tattoo in honor of that. And I feel like if I hit my butt again, then I'm fucked for life. But still, I found a hack, and that hack is, I hope you're okay with it. I know. This looks like something Batman would wear. I call myself Batman. It's good for 2 reasons. First, it literally saves my ass. Second, it's a really nice fart collector. You mean at the end of every night when I take it off, I feel so good smelling it. I don't know if I'm the only one with this. And don't get me wrong, I like my own fart, not yours. Don't come to me and fart fart in my face. I'm like that. It's just my own thing. Anyway, coming back to skydiving. Another thing that I was not good at was fucking off. Let me tell you how. Like, so when you jump with people, many people, like you can do whatever you want. You can do, hold them, you can flip them, like you can do the entire Macarena dance with them. Or if you're really good, you can do Gangnam style. But once it's time to deploy your parachute, you have to fuck off. And no matter how many people there are, like 2, 5, 10, 20, 50, you have to like go to your own space and then deploy your parachute. Otherwise, your parachute may get tangled with other people's parachute, and then you are dead. Whenever I wanted to, deploy my parachute, I was not fucking off far enough, and that one of the reasons why is because normally we use this as this is an altimeter, and we see like where we are, like every now and then we keep checking it. But when it's time to fuck off, you can't just be like this. You have to go in this position to have even enough horizontal separation. And when you do this, you can't really look at your altimeter. So you are supposed to do it for 5 seconds, and I'm not good at counting. I am good at counting, but I'm not good at counting. And like I don't trust my pace of counting. So sometimes like either I used to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and that was my 5 seconds. And sometimes and I was not far away from the other skydivers, and at times I have been really slow, like 1, 2, 3. Am I doing it really slow? I think I'm doing it really slow. 4. And then I used to think like, oh, why am I still counting? Maybe I should do 5 and pull, and 5 and pull. But whenever I pulled like that, because I used to panic, and you're supposed to pull your cord with your left hand going forward and right hand going like this. Else, you are not in a stable position and your parachute does not deploy nicely. And I've had a few line twists as well, and because of that. And when there's a line twist, all you have to do is kick in the air to untwist it. And being right-handed, like when it happened to me for the first time, being right-handed, I started kicking. I started using my right leg to kick, and then I realized I was twisting it even further. And so when you have such moments in your life, it made you reevaluate like whether you're meant for this sport or not. And eventually, Alright, so eventually I started working on my fucking off. And after a few jumps, I got so good at fucking off that I fucked off really far away from the drop zone. And I ended up over a factory, which was not at all, there was no landing space for me because it was all chimneys and junkyard. And
On your butt.
So I started looking for a place to land, and eventually I found a pile of coal dust, and I thought I could land over there. I'm not good at precision landing either. But when I was about to land there, so there are some technicalities for you. Like whenever you are going to land, you do a flare, like at twice of your height, you pull it up until your shoulders, then waist, and then I did not follow the textbook because I realized that if I had done that, I would have passed that pile of coal dust and hit the wall, the giant wall that was there. So that was a split-second decision that I took, and I just decided to pull my front risers and dive into that pile of coal dust. And I'm alive, I'm here. I feel like although skydiving is an egoistic sport, but I realized I've realized where I belong. I know I've been egoistic too because my entire journey, like my ego stems from this journey. Like so many times I have defeated death until I'm not able to do it anymore. But I feel like every skydiver, like people who have like thousands of jumps, even someone like me with just 100 jumps, I feel like we have stared in through the abyss for so long, for so many times, that even the abyss is like, get out of here, man. Just don't stare at me. Like, get out. And I feel like we have really, we have, I don't know the right word for it, but we have made abyss uncomfortable. And I feel like even though this has been going on, and people like me who cannot stop doing it even though they are not that good at it, but that's how you get good at it. Well, after practicing, like you have to not give up. And someone like me who used to be afraid of heights, who used to freeze in many situations, I feel like that is where that is something that I can be proud of, like comparing myself with to my older self, and that kid would be really proud of what I've become. So I get my ego from there, and I don't see you all as buffos, but what I really see is that, okay, like I have made the kid me really proud, and I know like there's no end to this story because I'm still here. And as long as I'm alive, this story will go on. But to close, like to summarize this chapter of my story, I believe I would like to quote a really acclaimed Pulitzer-winning poet who famously said in one of his poems, "Be humble." Hold up, bitch, sit down. Be humble. Sit down. And that same poet, in one of his other famous poems, said, "Bitch don't kill my vibe, bitch don't kill my vibe." So, what to do? Whether to be humble or not let anybody kill your vibe. So what I've realized, like, there's a really narrow path between, like, you have to be humble while not letting a bitch kill your vibe. And I'm trying to follow that path, and I hope you all like find that path and follow that. Thank you.